Okay, really excited about some developments here on my progress of the Lee. I've kind of put it on hold for a while. I wanted to get unit markings on the Lee which were correct, and there were some unit markings here on the front cheeks of the Lee which were particular to the Operation Torch and the combat in the North African desert when the United States got into the ground war. The 1st Armored Division was, as I understand it, really the only armored division that was active in Operation Torch, and it was the 1st Armored Regiment and the 13th Armored Regiment that saw service, and they had particular markings that were specific to that campaign, and later on in the war the United States Army didn't use those kind of markings, so it's pretty cool. Now, I've already used some decals from Company B. I just got these, I had these decals made from Company B. I designed them in Adobe InDesign and then sent the artwork to Company B and they printed them off. However, I had already used the yellow stars on here, and I hand painted my own, I airbrushed my own stripe, and then the US also used blue vehicle markings like for the vehicle numbers, and Company B had a Lulu Bell set, and as you can see I've already cut out the numbers for the vehicle, but these were the numbers. They look just like that. So I used those for the vehicle numbers, and but I didn't have the unit marking numbers like I wanted. So I contacted Company B, and they printed me up some decals the way I wanted them for future use, including these unit numbers right here. I'll try to zoom in on this a little bit. The only unfortunate thing was the vehicle numbers that they printed up are way too small, and they need to be this size because that's about the size they were from photographic references. I don't know if you can see this in the video. Anyway, the ones that I got printed were too small, so I contacted them yesterday evening when I got home and I found this in the mail, and I told them that. I told them everything looks great except the vehicle numbers. They need to be the same size as the ones on your Lulu Bell set. And they responded right back to me and said they're going to talk about it with their the guy that does their decal art. So I'm expecting good things from them. In the meantime, I'll be able to use these because I've already gotten the stars and everything already done. The only thing for this tank that I need are these. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that, and we'll get going from there. So let me zoom in a little bit more so you can see these decals a little more. So this is what I had printed from Company B, and as I discussed, the vehicle numbers are much too small. They need to be that size by comparison. But the unit designation numbers I have here are what I'm most concerned with. And I have 3 pairs. So this is enough. What I did is I did artwork that was enough for a full platoon of 3 tanks. For someone that, if someone would want to do 3 tanks. So we'll go on from there. I'll put these on and we'll carry on. Okay, I've cut these out, and we'll just start by adding water to them. I saw someone do this on a video one time, and I usually take a saucer and submerge decals in water, but this seemed like a pretty good idea, and I tried it and it worked, so It's a little more exact than having your stuff floating around in a dish. You just got to wait for them to loosen up. And I don't know if these decals, I think these decals are all on one sheet, so it looks like what I'm going to have to do is be careful about how I trim them in the future. It's like one big decal, not little individual decals on the sheet. Yep, that's the way it is. Okay. So, okay, they're loose now. So what I'm going to do is use this decal medium. Let me back this off a little bit. I'll use this decal medium and put it on the tank. These decals are very soft. They're brand new and very soft. They're a tad too large. But that's not the printer's fault. This is what I gave them in terms of measurements, what I thought was correct. One way you can do this if you're not having luck with moving the decal around is to just grab it with an X-Acto tip and drag it. Yeah, these are a bit big. But they're definitely acceptable. And after they're on the tank, they look really nice and opaque. So I'm pleased with that. I'll try to get this to lie flat. It's a tad too big. But, you know, can't have everything exactly perfect. This was an experiment on my part. I'm the one that had these decals made. So, look, in terms of this decal, I've seen these decals different ways. They weren't uniform in size. When the people put this marking on, you know, they didn't have like a standard template that they used, whatever you call it, masking template that they passed around. I've seen them different sizes, so I've seen them big and I've seen them smaller. The particular photograph that I was looking at, they were smaller than this, but that's, you know, that's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to get this thing smoothed down as smooth as possible. And that looks pretty good. It looks pretty darn good. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to put on decal fix. Okay, there we go. Right and left cheeks.